our 11th season, we continue to share facts and give advice on the great outdoors, where we never let the lack of facts come between us and a good story. Guys who are dedicated to helping you become a better outdoorsman. Your host, Gary McCoy, who's no stranger to the radio world or the outdoors, with a CMA to his credit for best personality. A well-accomplished outdoorsman who loves the thrill of taking a big buck or putting a bass in the live well. Mike Eccles, born and raised in Louisiana, who's fished and hunted his entire life and continues to chase ducks in the backwaters and pull bass off cypress trees. And the Boss Tournament Trail Director who runs the best team circuit in Louisiana. Steve Graff, raised in the woods and waterways of East Texas, a former Northwestern State two-sport athlete and tournament angler who continues to strive for big bass and winning stringers. And last but not least, Jay Watley, the brains and producer of the show who pushes all the right buttons, a man with unmatched talent who excels in making these guys look good and this show sound great. Now let's jump off the front deck and make the first cast with the boys who know it all, Gary, Steve, Mike, and Jay.
Hey, thank you for tuning in. We are hooking up and tracking down 1130 The Tiger. It's Gary McCoy along with the Ranger Iowa Pro staffer Steve Graff. Going to be a living, walking, breathing commercial for the Gorilla Hull here before long.
Unfortunately.
A little word to the wise right now. Careful on Toledo Bend,
Yes,
even
sir.
in the boat roads.
Yes, sir.
The lake is low. What's the lake level?
It's 167 something, so it's like 3.2 feet low, 3.2
Yeah.
something. And,
160, that's that little magic
Yeah,
number right there,
you're right there on it.
where it's, it's high enough to cover some of those stumps, but
Yep.
it's not low enough so that you could see them.
you're not really safe in the boat
I
roads.
bet you were texting and driving.
Oh no,
Is he doing that again?
no, I don't do that in the boat. I can promise you, I'm not that agile.
Hey, this part of the show brought to you by Steve Nichols and Specialty Traco. Oh, I forgot to mention the Mud Hen is here
Oh yeah, Mike.
in the house.
Yeah, he's here.
I don't
And
make
Jay
much of a
is
splash.
back.
Did y'all miss me or what?
We did miss
Man,
you.
what? You got some stories to tell us?
Wait a minute. Do you know how much he missed us?
Yeah, how much?
How many people miss us so much besides Billy Phillips, and we love you, Billy.
Yeah.
How many of us miss that would bring Southern Made to the party?
Yes,
That's appreciation.
as much as I hate to admit this, I really just found them in the station.
Well, I mean, what day? How old are these?
They're
Good
from
God!
They're today.
It doesn't
Because
matter.
when you
I
look at
didn't-
that don't look
Yeah.
appetizing.
I didn't bring them from
That just
Southern
shows
Made
you
to
how
here.
hot they were when they came in.
Yeah.
I'm waiting till y'all get that last one. I'm taking a spatula and I'm going to scrape that off the bottom, and that's what I ate.
Best part.
Yeah. Actually, what I think it was that Jay heard that Puff did such a good job
Yes.
that
He's
he's
nervous.
worried
He's
about
wor-
job security.
I heard it.
Our hats off to Puff. He did do a great
I
job.
listened last Wednesday and I texted him and I said, "Hey, if you could just mess up something, just
Yeah.
the next segment, play the wrong song, leave a mic turned off, just help me
No,
out."
no, don't leave a mic turned off.
Yeah.
No, he said off.
Off, yeah.
That's maybe.
Just
That's
one
okay.
little small mistake, just something like that.
I told him just make sure Ralph's happy.
That's actually true. More importantly than you think.
Is it
You've been-
Exactly.
Is it possible?
You've been on the receiving end of the Ralph wrath before, have you
Oh,
not?
I've gotten it, a couple times. Luckily, though, those times are fewer and far between these days.
Yep.
Hey, the opening segment of today's show brought to you by Steve Nichols and Specialty Traco, Despino and Jim South Tire, and Bayou Outdoor Super Center. Kick off this fall with a new camper or motorhome from Bayou Outdoor Super Center in Bossier City. And welcome to the new Bayou Outdoor Super Center Ranger team.
Yeah.
Randy Deaver,
Deaver.
Yep.
has joined us up and is now with all of us, which makes that really cool. We kind of got, we got another one of the good ones.
Does that mean we get GPS coordinates? now?
I just fixed to say it's just somebody else that he can sponge off of.
Hey, we're tight now, Randy. We're tight.
That was kind of a shock, Randy leaving his existing boat dealer. But Randy's fishing the FLW.
Yeah.
And there's so
Yeah.
much money on the table, fishing the cup, the FLW, if you're in a Ranger boat.
Yeah.
And Randy's doing good enough to feel like he's probably going to win some of that money.
Yeah.
So it was a financial move.
Yeah.
And Randy's a good guy. He represented everybody he works for. Very, very good.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we
Yeah.
are happy at Bayou Outdoors to have him.
You bet. This week's Facebook sponsor spotlight Rio Ammunition.
Got to load up, boys, this time.
Oh, dude.
And Rio's got a deal out right now. They're manufactured in Marshall, Texas, and they've got what they call the Rio Patriot Pack. Now, this features a distinctive outer sleeve design holding 100 12-gauge cartridges that are designed for wing and target shooting. The Patriot Pack also features Rio's commitment to the NRA's mission. And let's see, they're proud to support the NRA. They take two separate approaches. First, in a direct contribution of $1 for every Patriot Pack sold through June 15th, 2019. They're going to donate that. And the Patriot Packs are produced in Rio Ammunition's 105,000 square foot building in Marshall, Texas. The facility, one of the 3 operated globally. I did know that Rio was.
Oh, I didn't know they had other factories.
They've got, I think.
3. How about that?
I know, but I mean, I think China. I think I'm not sure.
Really?
Someplace out of town.
Right. Someplace out of town.
It's not the 71106.
That's the other side of the river, ain't it?
But a lot of if you're going to dove hunt,
Just up the road.
go to check with Davis Men's Store or Cypress Knee, and see if they've got the Rio Patriot Pack.
Now, is that in lead shot or is that just steel shot?
I think that this is a steel, but it's a steel for
Doves.
dove and target.
Well, you know what? Now, your duck hunting precedes you go way back to when we were shooting lead, and you understand the complications of the steel and stuff. Do you think that because you're not talking about an animal very big, shooting steel at a dove, that wouldn't make any difference, would it?
No,
I don't think so.
I've actually gone out and dove hunted with a few boxes of duck shells that I just wanted to shoot up and get rid of because I wanted to start over fresh.
Yeah, but you were shooting 4s or 2s or something.
Yes, 4s or something.
Yeah.
And you can kill a dove.
I bet
Really.
A good knockdown.
I mean, you can sneak up on that power line and 60 yards away, you can get that dove.
I've noticed you can do the same thing with a 30-06.
Yeah, you can draw sparks from that electric line up there.
Do you?
Swepco doesn't like you shooting with a steel shot. But,
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. The Patriot Pack. Get that right now from Rio Ammunition.
Yeah.
Davis, Cypress Knee, you say has got them?
Yeah, Cypress Knee's carrying them. Full line.
Speaking of Patriot Pack, that reminded me, we had the QDMA banquet the other night, and Don Edwards was the artist that supports that. And I had not known, we've actually got one of the paintings that are going to be in the Delta Waterfowl banquet September the 6th. But at the QDMA, he had a painting, and they're called the concealed carry print. The ducks in the picture flying, if you look close enough, have a pistol under each wing.
Oh, wow.
And it's not bold enough to be gaudy.
Yeah.
But it's called
It's
the
subtle.
concealed.
That's awesome.
Yes,
That's cool.
It was unbelievable.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Okay, Cash Splash, the championship results.
I saw that. We ain't had the tournament.
No,
How can I
the
The
get
tournament
it?
was last weekend.
No, it's
the
the end of
tournament's the end of
September.
September.
Okay, well, let's forget that. Let's
Okay,
go on to
I-
Facebook
I was
promotion.
wanting to know.
I'll
wow.
make something up.
Yeah.
Who do you predict, Mike?
I won. I got the vote.
Who do you predict?
Oh, Lord, no. I would not make a prediction out on Cross Lake at the end of September.
Yeah, it could be.
Hey, I'm going to tell you right
We
now,
got too many good fishermen.
Yeah.
my
that's-
partner, Pete Daniels, and his nephew, Kyle Carnes,
They'll be in the hunt.
I'm telling you, I honestly think they will in this one.
You know, it's a 3 fish limit, just like the 8 qualifying events we've had.
Right.
But we will be fishing out of the American Legion, launch anywhere, come down there and take off in the order that you finish for the year. Harrison and Bennett Hopkins, congratulations, Angler of the Year team in the Cash Splash out there. They'll be boat number 1 going out that morning.
Did Johnny Johnson fish with his wife this year?
Yes, Johnny fished with his wife and Josh fished with his son.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they both finished high.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, you're talking about, two guys
two good
that
know
know
what they're
know
doing.
how to catch fish.
Yeah.
Okay, what you got?
We got a Facebook giveaway going on right now, a promotion. We just did one, V&M, and thank you, Kevin, Jean, and V&M. They donated a lot of product, had a great promotion with that. And we put together a Spro, Gamakatsu, Mustang gloves, hooking up, tracking down cap and T-shirt.
There better not have been a rain suit on there.
Well,
Yeah,
no
that's
rain
what I'm
suits
thinking.
yet. We're still waiting on those,
Or
Mike.
any Rio Ammunition.
I think they're in the mail.
Yeah.
But anyway, she did ask for our address. I hope that means she's going to send us something pretty soon. But anyway, it's a great giveaway. 2 spools, 300 yards of Daiwa Samurai braid.
Yeah.
That's worth almost
Now,
$100
did
right
you
there.
is that the 40 or the 80?
I got the 40 and the 70.
Or 70,
1 spool
rather.
of
Yeah.
each.
Let me tell you what, that stuff is awesome. You know what? I think I like the
make a
40
trot
even better
line
than
out
the
of
80.
70.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Dude, that 40 is amazing.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And most of the time, I was always throwing 65 or so, but man, I like that 40.
But if you're looking for a great package, a great giveaway, check it out. Sign your name on there. Post it, share it, and you qualify. And I think the winner's going to be drawn Friday at noon. Kevin's going to take care of that for us with V&M. So,
Okay, dove season 2 weeks from this Saturday? No, not
No,
this
week
Saturday,
from
next
this,
Saturday.
Yeah.
And that means that here in just a few, we've got dove hunting tips.
Yeah, we got some great tips. And of course,
Is
I
this,
came
something,
up with
is
them.
this something that you wrote?
I came up
Okay.
with them. So y'all can agree or
Hey,
disagree.
Jay, I know that you are the dove hunting expert in the room.
I
here.
got great tips.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that your tips were better than Graf's tips. Okay.
No, I've had them for a while.
Okay.
I got them in a drawer over here.
Yeah,
A drawer.
Man needs to keep his tip in the drawer.
yeah, buddy.
Yep.
Also, today's show, Ken Lowry's going to be on Delta Waterfowl. If they got a big agenda for this fall, or have they done most of their work already?
They are still working.
Okay.
And that's what Ken's going to talk about. One of the reasons that I just attached myself to the wagon with Delta Waterfowl, because I believe in their concept. I believe in things they believe in. They do not stand back and say we can't kill the predators that are eating up the eggs and destroying the nest in the prairie pothole. They say, let's kill the predators. We would rather kill a raccoon, a fox, a skunk, or a possum to save ducks.
Right.
So they do that. They are more into constructing areas that you can hunt than constructing areas that ducks can sit and you can't hunt.
Or that only special privileged people can hunt.
And they are just in the process of finishing up right now some water control structures down at Loggy Bayou that will be open to the public. Some very good land that kind of dried up because of beaver dams or being destroyed or something, the levee being destroyed. I don't know the story, but Ken has been down there working, and thanks to Kenny Jenkins and his crew, that area will be ready to start holding water, and that will add to the areas that people that don't have a blind on Cross Lake, Bistineau, or something like that, or do not have a private lease, can go down to Loggy Bayou and duck hunt.
Yeah. Now, Mike, also, too, the difference between Delta and the other organizations that are out there.
And I'm not knocking anybody.
No.
Anything that works towards conservation,
But
I'm for. But they're still getting some things that I believe benefits me.
Well, that's my point. It's more that money stays more local with Delta than it does with other organizations.
Right.
I think that's the big.
But
benefit.
Delta is nationwide.
Sure,
It is.
Well,
It
I
is.
mean, it's a
your local
misnomer.
chapter.
It's a misnomer. When you think of Delta, you're just thinking about the Mississippi Delta or the possible southern region.
Right.
But
Right.
they
Delta's
do.
main office is in North Dakota.
I was going to say, they work as far north as the Mississippi River can go.
Exactly.
So it's not just a local area, but they do have a lot of influx. And I want to say each one of the regions, has so much that they can spend in their region.
Exactly.
Heritage Fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also today, Candyman Pet Lodge owner Wayne Neeson. Hopefully,
Yay or
gonna be,
nay?
if
Hopefully,
yeah,
we're not really totally sure.
If
we're gonna call him.
Yeah.
And
If
the
Wayne can
answer's-
get now, if he can't, then we'll get super dog trainer Mike Eccles, who has
The dog
trained.
whisperer.
How many world champs have you had now?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, none.
But we got some great. Nobody's had more dogs than you, have they?
Well, in the room,
Yeah.
In the room.
Great, great training tips for your
I just
hunting
always
dog.
dated ugly women.
That's on the way. Dove hunting is next. Sit tight if you're ready to bust a bird.
Yeah.
We'll tell you how to do it.
Oh,
Graf is the number one. I mean,
I am. This is guaranteed to put doves in your bag.
hey, see,
There you
all
go.
you got to do is just get the gravy ready. That's
That's
next.
right.
Hook it up, track it down. 11:30. The Tiger.
It's something that you're never gonna forget.
This segment of Hooking Up and Tracking Down is presented by Daiwa Rods and Reels, J&J Exterminating, V&M Baits, Paul's Farm and Garden, and Silver Star Smokehouse. Now serving the best barbecue in 2 great locations in Shreveport and the original in Bossier City.
Bellevue Meat Market. We are so proud to have Bellevue Meat as a sponsor, not only because we love Carl and Chris, because it's one of the most fun remotes that we do out there. We leave there weighing about 5 pounds more.
Exactly.
Over 20 years of custom meat processing. They starting in October 21st. They've got new hours, 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. on Tuesday through Friday.
Which was yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. It certainly was. Yeah, absolutely.
How about that?
Yeah. Now taking appointments for beef and pork processing. Chris and Carla are always looking to make a better product. I don't know how they can improve over what they got. Great selection of sausage, seasonings, Mayhaw jelly, barbecue sauce, pre-packaged mixes like gumbo, red beans and rice, and jambalaya. They offer great snack sticks, perfect for the duck blind or the deer stand. Bellevue is also, and this just comes from the heart, the official processors of Hunters for the Hungry. Go to BellevueMeat.com to learn more.
Jeff Pate just texted me. He said when Eccles started duck hunting, that's when you packed your shot in the other end of the barrel. Or nails. Whatever it was, rocks.
I still do that during the week.
Dove hunting, a big thing around here because it signifies the start of hunting season. I mean, that's when it all starts. And to me, the number one thing to remember, honestly, it's cool. It's cool when you have one of those really good hunts and everybody limits out.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is the food.
Oh, ain't no doubt.
I mean, it's that.
It's a social event.
And LSU always plays, either that afternoon or that evening. And to me, that's the most important stuff, is that everybody get together and have a great time and you shoot the bull. And it's just, and I'm praying, that this year that maybe the Lord would look down on us and maybe drop us some 75-degree weather that day. Wouldn't that be awesome? I know that it kills the dove hunt.
Yeah.
I know it kills the dove hunt.
It makes for a lot nicer hunt,
buddy.
And this year LSU plays on Sunday night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They played Miami at Texas Stadium on Sunday night. I didn't know that till yesterday.
Oh, wow.
So you ain't going to happen Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
So you may not want to bring your TV and all that out there Saturday.
You know me. I normally have the
It ain't going to be set
satellite.
up. Hey, it's a great place to go. I enjoyed my trip. I'm looking at going back again one day.
It's only been, this is the second or third year that Louisiana has started their dove season at daylight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad of that.
Yeah, I think it's a great move.
Now tell me, what do you think was the reason why we always waited until noon to start?
I think it was politics. I mean, I think it was not politics per se. I think that there a lot of people in politics that had influence on this had a big dove hunts, and they liked the barbecue and the beer drinking and stuff, and they didn't want to have to start drinking beer at 6 a.m.
I think it's kind of like the high school jamborees.
Yeah.
I hate a jamboree.
Yeah.
I think they're the biggest waste of time.
Bossier's got one Friday night.
Why? If we're going to play, let's play.
Yeah.
Why we have to play half a ball game and then
it's
go
like
home?
exhibition NFL games.
Yeah.
I could care less.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's
I'm not
forget
watching
jamborees.
NFL all this year anyway.
Hey, thank you.
I'm not. I didn't watch it. I did not watch a down last year, and I will not watch a down this year.
I'm watching my Cowboys.
Matter of fact, we're going to get in a fight at the duck camp because I furnished the TV and the satellite dish.
Yeah.
We split the bill.
Yeah.
But we've got a couple of the guys that I just do not think have the willpower to show their patriotism, and I'm not picking on them.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I am.
Yeah.
I'll vote not to watch it. I didn't watch it last.
Just don't bring the TV.
Well, they'll do something.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing the Dallas Cowboys do different than everybody else, they don't allow their players to kneel. They have to stand. It's required. It's in their contract. So if they want to protest, Jerry Jones
whoever they are playing isn't held to that.
Well, here's what's happening.
We need a duck hunt.
Okay, and here's what's happening now, though, while we're on this. ESPN last week did not show the national anthem.
But what a lot of people don't realize is ESPN never showed the national anthem. They haven't done anything they've never done before. That was all they're doing. All ESPN did was take away these players' platform.
Stage. Thank you, but why don't they all do that?
Well, they took away the players' platform to be able to recognize that.
I don't need to see
It's
the
like-
national anthem before the game.
You know, to me, it's like when the streaker comes out on the baseball field, they don't show that because they don't want to make them a
Right,
star.
right.
Well, don't show the person kneeling
There you-
during the national anthem.
There you go. Exactly right. Why put the camera on him?
Yeah.
Anyway, 10 great dove hunting tips right here. Number one.
Shoot them because you're mad.
Yeah.
I'm fired up now, by God.
Turn your TV off.
Number one, make sure you scout. Get your butt out there and scout before you hunt.
Okay, now listen. How important is that if you're confined to an area? I mean, like we got 320 acres that Uncle Gary has down there between him and his brothers and sisters. When you say scout, it's not like I can go on the place next to them.
That is a real generic term that doesn't apply to probably 5% of the dove hunters.
Because, it's not like I've got 10,000 acres that I can look over.
But if my buddies have got stuff out and their field's baited, I want to know the flight of the doves. I want to know which way they coming from. So,
But that can change overnight.
In that realm of scouting, for the average person around here, scouting really should consist of keeping all your stuff together and the first 30 minutes being mobile.
Yeah.
Because doves will enter a field from a different direction, whether they're coming from roost or coming from water, but they also enter a field according to the wind.
yeah.
And you know what? The way they fly in the morning, generally speaking, is completely different than the path they'll fly that afternoon.
That's true.
Now, one of the things that occurred to me is that when they're coming off the roost, that's where it probably is not. That's where they're going to roost again tomorrow.
Now, but for doves, the roost really can be the middle of the day.
Oh,
They
yeah.
will roost during the middle of the day,
Yeah.
set in those big trees in the cool.
Yeah.
And when it comes time in the evening to feed, they're coming out of their roost to fly to feed in the afternoon.
Hey, let me tell you, that's one of our little tactics. We let the kids do all the four-wheeler riding when the birds quit flying.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody goes and puts all the guns up, and the kids get on the four-wheelers, and they play and ride all over, and they'll put those birds back in the air because all of a sudden, the four-wheelers are coming by, and those big dead pines and stuff like that the doves roost in, those kids scare them all out, and they'll get them back in the air again.
Number two, bring plenty of Rio shells. You got to have plenty of shells.
All right, do you shoot 9s or 8s?
8s
or 7.5?
I'll shoot 7.5 if I got them, but no, I like the 8s if I can get them.
What about you, Mike?
Whatever's on sale, whatever I got left over from duck
We
season.
said he knows he shoots 4s.
He doesn't kill many, but when he shoots one, there are no cripples.
Oh, they going down. Number three.
That sucker weighed 14 pounds. Big as
I'll knock most feathers off with a good shot.
Number three, wear a good camo and good wide brim hat. And I say wide brim because I'm a guy that's a victim of skin spots, which I've had to have burn off. So actually, for the first time yesterday on Toledo Bend, I wore a wide brim hat.
Did you look like Gilligan?
I don't know what I look like. I don't even care. I'm 57 years old. I don't give a rat's butt what anybody thinks no more. So, number four. Oh, and
You were the old guy that little kids out there were making fun of yesterday.
Well, honestly, there wasn't nobody out there yesterday. It's too freaking hot. Nichols and Davis has a good supply of camo right now in stock. Go check it out. And also, number four, have enough shooters. This is important to me. Have enough shooters to cover the field.
Yeah, that is important.
That is important.
Strategically placed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where,
Exactly.
where you don't
Keep them in there and nobody gets hurt.
No, where you don't get don't shoot somebody's eye out with a Red Ryder BB gun.
Now, Mike, Gary, if you guys are in a lucky spot and you're getting a lot of shooting, do you say, hey, Johnny, come over here and let me swap with you and you get some shooting in? Do you swap?
No, Johnny, come over here and we'll both shoot at him. I'm not giving up my spot.
You ain't giving up your spot.
No.
I know Eccles ain't.
What's the limit on dove? 8?
8?
No, it's more than 8. I think it's 12.
Is it?
Yeah. I'll look that up while you're working.
We need to know that before
I
Officer
won't call
Inman comes
Johnny
on.
over there till I've killed one more than the limit.
Number 5, do some target shooting before opening day. How many people do that?
None.
Probably none.
Well, you know what? I did
It's a great idea.
I did this year already. I
you really?
have shot some clays. I sure
Okay,
have.
well, that's good. Then you've done your homework. Number 6, make sure you have plenty of cold drinks and water for your dog if you've got a dog out there. Now, Mike, you got a little.
I won't let
experience
mine have cold drinks.
Now, Mike's got a little.
Mike used to take his dog, but he drinks too much beer. So.
Now, Mike, you've got a little portable air conditioner that you said. I think you take.
Yeah, it was. I think they called that the Cajun air conditioner. It's built out of an insulated 5-gallon bucket.
15 is the daily bag
15.
limit in the
Okay,
state
I don't
of
call
Louisiana.
Johnny over to my spot till I kill 16.
16. Yeah.
15.
All right, number 7. Make it a social event, which it pretty much is anyway, with some good food. Got to have good food.
Amen.
And I can speak for McCoy. They know how to do that.
Hey, and my buddy Chris Locke this year, he got him a new jambalaya cooker.
Oh, really?
Yes, and he said it's big and nice, and he said, man, we could feed all of DeSoto Parish. And he says, I plan on making – so we're taking a little bit of everything. If somebody's got leftover ducks or deer or whatever, it's going to – whatever we – it'll be kind of like where Mulligan meets jambalaya.
Oh, man. Y'all going to enjoy yourself.
Dude.
Number 8, excuse me. Number 8. Now, I've actually been caught in this situation before and should have done my homework.
Putting the corn out?
Yeah, well, the corn was put out.
Okay.
Without my knowledge.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead. Well, I don't want to say that on air. I might get somebody in trouble. Anyway, inspect the field. Do you inspect the field?
Yes, from personal experience. When the game warden wrote us those tickets, we learned the 2 rules of dove hunting.
Yeah.
Ask. Hey, anybody here? You get everybody together before any of the hunts.
Right.
Ask. Did anybody here put corn out?
Yeah.
Anybody here put any kind of bait out?
Yeah.
Anybody add to it? Now, you can go out there the day before, and you might have a great stand of corn out there, and you can go out there the day before and bush hog all of it.
Yeah.
And everything's fine as long as you do not add 1 grain of corn to that.
Right.
Okay?
Sunflower,
Ask.
same thing. Yeah.
Ask. And then the second thing you do is inspect.
Yeah.
Okay? You go out there, everybody takes a little area and goes out there where they're going to hunt and walks around. And then you get back together. Anybody see any corn, anything that wasn't natural, anything that was added? No. Then we're good to go.
Yeah.
And those are the first 2 questions that the game warden is going to ask you when he approaches you if you're out there dove hunting is, did you ask and did you inspect?
And then the next question he's going to ask, which is number 9, do you have your license?
Do you have? And then he's going to say, "Can I see your gun?"
Yes.
Is the plug in your gun?
Exactly.
And I'm going to give you a little something right here. Good friend of mine. Thank goodness he had never even loaded the gun on a hunt. He had just taken it out. When a gun comes direct from the factory, the plug is not in it.
Yeah.
You've got to pull that and put the
in.
plug in there. And a lot of guys, I just bought this gun yesterday. They take it out there. They assume that the plug's in the gun.
Yeah.
It's not.
I got one better than that. I bought one from the factory and used it because all I shoot for ducks is 3.5s. And the first time I went dove hunting with it,
It'll hold more.
One hunter away, the game warden was making his way to me when I realized you could put 4 2 3/4 in it.
You can.
Oh.
The difference between that 3.5-inch shell and a 2 and 3.
So you'd have to add
I
your
had
plug.
a plug that would not prevent me from putting 3 shells.
Does that gun
shells
come
in.
with 2 plugs?
Nope.
So you just have to cut a sweet gum stick and stick it in
you
there.
gotta improvise.
I'll be done.
I broke and ran.
Number
Yeah, the
10.
game warden's never looking for the guy running.
Now that we got the music in the background, the number 1 rule: don't shoot anyone.
Amen.
So be
You
safe
know,
out there.
hey, wear sunglasses.
Yes.
Yes.
Wear
Amen.
sunglasses.
Oh, amen.
Even if you don't like to wear sunglasses for eye protection.
You bet.
A BB
Yep.
Yeah.
get you.
That's
Yep.
a really, really good piece of advice.
Yep.
All right, sit tight. What are we doing next? Ken Lowry. That's what's up next, representing Delta Waterfowl, what they've got going, and the new improvements to Loggy Bayou. If you're a duck hunter and you've been scratching your head looking for a great place to hunt, it might be the Loggy Bayou is the spot this year. That's next. Hook it up and track it down. 11:30, The Tiger.
I may look like a bank teller, fishing facts in a file.
The Hook It Up and Track and Down Show thanks you for tuning us in today. This segment presented by Cypress Knee Outdoors, Nichols Department Stores, Candyman Pet Lodge, and Bellevue Meat Processing, offering prepackaged meals like red beans and rice, gumbo and jambalaya, along with their great selection of seasonings.
Real quick, Holy Angels Bass Tournament this weekend, guys. If you're looking for something to do to wrap up your fishing season, participate this weekend. The 5th annual Fishing for Angels Bass Tournament held out at Red River South, August the 25th. $5,000 first place guarantee. Proceeds benefit the residents of Holy Angels. Scramble format. Lakes include Black Lake, Caddo, Grand Bay, Bistineau, Red River, Toledo Bend, and Cross Lake. First cast 6:30, must be in weigh-in line by 3 o'clock at Red River South Marina. Registration Thursday, August 23rd, tomorrow, and Friday, August 24th on noon till 8 o'clock each day at Red River South Marina. Joe Stevens will probably be down there. He'll take your registration, give you your armband for your free food and everything else that's going on there Saturday.
Okay, on the line we have got local representative from Delta Waterfowl, good friend of ours for a long time. Ken Lowry, how you doing, buddy?
Good morning, guys. How y'all?
Good, Ken.
I know you're busy. You're actually in the airport in Dallas right now, but you and some of the other local people have been very busy trying to create a place for some of our duck hunters to go. Tell us about that, Ken.
Well, it's one of my favorite places to hunt. Grew up hunting there and just trying to make it better, using Delta Waterfowl Heritage Fund money to do it. We're down at Loggy Bob, just south in Beaufort Parish. If there's nobody that's ever been down there, you need to go see it. It's a lot bigger than most people understand. It's around 6,400 acres, and it's accessible by everyone. And the duck hunting can be great there. The deer hunting and the bow hunting is awesome. And we're proud to be part of bringing some of these projects to light. A green tree that we just got finished working on down there is I'm kind of excited about being able to hunt it this year.
Well, now, Ken, you told me this was an existing body of water or backwater or something, and then beavers or levees or something were done away with, and it dried up, got smaller, and y'all went in and put in a control structure. So you've revamped this duck hunting hole. How big is it going to be?
Well, the whole area is about 600 acres, but the part that we worked on this time was about 110 acres. The levee itself is within sight of Loggy Bayou, and it's just a drain that comes off of that end of the management area. But by controlling that particular point right there, we were able to open a couple of holes and maintain the water level, and then during the spring and summer months be able to regulate the water depth for more soil management, which is what the waterfowl are actually looking for, is the right food. So that was the whole idea, is to recreate what had originally been planned, but through the last few floods and the beavers, it pretty much destroyed what they'd originally built back in the 80s and 90s.
Well, I think we owe some thanks to a local businessman and hunter, Kenny Jenkins, has been down there. A big part of that, hadn't he?
That's exactly right. His equipment, his operator, went down and did a great job. And they've always been a big supporter of Delta Waterfowl, and just couldn't have done it without them. And we're just proud that we had the opportunity. Jared Hughes is a biologist that's over these projects. And this is actually the second project that Delta Waterfowl has been able to take on at Loggy Bayou using Heritage Fund money, which is raised here in the Architects banquet. We get to keep a pretty good size percentage of what we do at the banquet for this sort of project.
Ken, it's Gary McCoy. Good to have you on, brother.
Hey, man.
Listen, under ideal conditions, I mean, if this was like an artist rendering, what do you perceive would be the perfect setup with what you've done, the control? Are we talking about, when you say soil management, are we talking about, water that's going to cover 6 to 8 inches, a foot, 2 feet? Is it going to be, you're at 112 acres? Is it a big bowl? What are we looking at in our minds?
Well, with it on the eastern boundary, of the management area right against the Loggy Bayou. Some of the water's going to be a little deeper than that, because of the structure and because of the ditch.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, it'll be between, on the high end, it'd be 2 inches, where it goes on the other structures, all the way down to just ankle-deep water throughout most of the whole area.
Oh, wow. So we're talking about primo duck habitat.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole idea. You've got several, the control structure is set up so that you can regulate the depth of the waters. And you drop an extra board, it'll be another 6 inches deep. But, God makes duck holes and we just try. So what we do is we go in there and as the weather changes, the circumstances, then they'll either pull a board or add a board until you find the right depth.
Mm-hmm.
You may add a 2-inch board, you may add a 4-inch board or a 6-inch board.
Will it ever get into a situation where Loggy Bayou itself is too low to be able to feed that at all?
Yes. This is going to be relying on water, on rainfall. We're not going to be able to pump. It's just too expensive to pump out of Loggy Bayou into this part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it really doesn't take much water to fill it.
Okay.
So, the first couple of rains will fill in the cracks, and then we'll absorb some of it. And the next rain, it will start to fill up, and then hopefully by the first couple of weeks in duck season, we've got a ideal scenario.
Oh, well, that was my next question. Is it better to have that water in there for the whole duck season, or is it better that you get it in there maybe later in the season?
It depends on where we fall. When you start looking at different types of aquatic vegetation, then obviously I'm not a biologist, but I know through experience that you'd like to see some of this not get flooded until Christmas time.
Right, because then you've got still some forage that's in there.
Right. And anybody who hunts the river or hunts the Mississippi Flyway, you follow that floodwater, because anything fresh, anything that the water's gotten muddy, the ducks know that that's where the crustaceans and the invertebrates are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So they follow that.
Now, Ken, Steve Graff here. Other thing I want to know, Delta, are they constantly on the lookout for new property to acquire to develop for duck hunting?
No, Delta waterfowl. Well, I say that. Now, in Manitoba and North Dakota and South Dakota and Montana, within the nesting grounds, that's a different scenario. They are looking for properties to manage and to continue to upgrade the habitat for nesting waterfowl.
Okay.
But down here, we're just trying to do the best we can for everyone. We're not looking for projects for any individual.
Right.
We're looking for public projects and people that actually support, not just Delta, but any conservation effort, but folks that are accessible to anybody. So that's our idea of managing waterfowl, is to develop the nesting grounds first, and then give the ducks a place to come when they get down here.
Ken, just in your mind, this project y'all are close to completing, if they just had to say, okay, this is how many hunters can safely and efficiently hunt this hole, how many people do you think could go in there and have a good hunt?
On that 110 acres, there's a couple of openings in the woods that you could hunt 4 guys in. And then you've got the outskirts of it that I would say that 110 acres would support 4 groups of 4.
Okay.
Now, it just depends on the depth of water. Obviously, in low water, you're not going to have all of it available. But, in ideal circumstances, I would say 16 guys could be able to hunt.
How would these, where exactly is this area in Loggy Bayou so that somebody might start doing some scouting now?
Yeah, if you go all the way to the boat launch, on Loggy Bayou, all the way down to the very end of Pool Road, when you park right there in that parking area, you'll take a right, and you'll be able to access it directly down there. Now, it's about a half-mile ride on an ATV or a walk, but it goes directly to it. We're trying to make this accessible to handicapped as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to put in a blind to do that. But in the meantime, though, it's pretty darn easy to find. Now, that's to the structure itself. If you're going to scout the place, then it's going to take a little more effort. You'll have to go past that, or you'll have to go in before that. But the structure itself is very accessible.
I hunted there a couple of times last year with my oldest son, and you know what you guys are doing there. There's a lot of people, especially in the South Bossier area, that truly that's their duck hunting spot. That's
It was
the
mine
only
for
place.
years too.
And I'm going to tell you that I can't tell you how much that those people truly appreciate what you're doing, and the fact that maybe you're going to make it even better and more attractive to more ducks, because just by adding that, it might mean that other ducks are in the area because of that,
Right.
and not necessarily would ever be killed right there on that, but they're coming that direction. So
Right.
thank you, brother. And Delta Waterfowl never ceases to amaze any of us with the fact that you've done something here locally that we can look at with our own eyeballs and know that that our dollars went straight to that.
Well, kids that are high school age and college age, and guys that don't have access to all the hunting areas in the South, and that's where I was for years. And so I'm passionate about making that accessible to anybody. And I think that's the best way that we could possibly spend our local dollars.
Well, Ken, thank you for being with us today. Thank you for what you've done for and with Delta. And I want to remind everybody that September the 6th, Thursday night at the Bossier Convention Center, will be the local chapter of Delta Waterfowl's banquet. Unfortunately, sold out.
Yeah.
Oh, so we can't even sell more tickets right now.
No, sold out. I mean, it's the first time, I don't know, ever, I guess, that this particular chapter has sold out. And the guys, hats off to people like Peyton Massey and everybody that sold so many tables. And we're looking forward to a great, great banquet over there. Right, Ken?
Just 2 weeks away.
Ken Lowry and Delta Waterfowl, thank you, brother. You want to sing something real quick?
Man, you really want to put me in the spot in the Dallas Airport?
In the Dallas airport, yeah. Why don't you just start singing the latest Ken Lowry selections?
I'll pass. Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Y'all have a
We
good week.
are hooking up and tracking down 11:30, the Tiger.
That you'd be true in your heart. Please just remember, right or wrong, I'm still in love.
At Hook It Up and Track and Down, we love to be social. Check out our Facebook page at Hook It Up and Track and Down Show for outdoors news and videos. This segment presented by United Rentals, Mustang Survival, Wildwood Resort, and the Bob Seeley Big Bass Splash Series. Take it away, guys.
Speaking of that Bob Seeley Big Bass Splash Series, there's another one coming up. Lake Fork, September 21st through the 23rd, Lake Fork Marina and Motel. Bob Seeley Big Bass Splash, where amateurs win like the pros. And, of course, if you know anything about Bob Seeley, what's it, 114 years he's been putting these tournaments on
Something
now?
like that.
Yeah.
And still counting.
115. Yeah. I knew I was close.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's anybody, Ray Scott included, I don't know that there's anybody that has given away as much money to amateur fishermen as Bob Seeley has.
Yep.
No, without a doubt.
I would bet that probably he's number one in the world.
Speaking of Ray Scott, pray for him. He's not doing well.
Yeah. But long story short, Bob is going to guarantee $479,000 at Lake Fork. That's one event.
Yeah. That's
Almost $500,000.
Yeah, for one fish.
Yeah, that's guaranteed. That doesn't mean that it's limited to that.
Yeah.
That means that's the guaranteed money. And you know what? Around here, we're tickled to death when we guarantee $5,000.
Oh, heck, yeah.
Oh, yeah, $5,000.
Yeah, we're big stuff.
Hey, I'm telling you. You know.
Come out of the woodwork for that.
Yeah. $479,000. Over $171,000 just in the hourly paybacks. Grand prize is a 19-foot Triton TRX powered by Mercury, plus $7,000 cash money, them dead presidents, and a 2018 Ram truck.
Can't beat that, boys.
$7,000. You get the truck and a boat.
Yep.
You're set. Remember that little boy that won it here a couple of years ago on Rayburn?
2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. Was that awesome or what? I mean, he's set for life. Think about that. Just go to SeeleyOutdoors.com. See how you can win money like the pros.
Yep. Hey, on the phone with us, we've got Wayne Neeson, Candyman Pet Lodge owner. Wayne, how you doing today?
Doing great, buddy.
We want to talk dog nutrition. What do we need? There's so many brands on the market.
You can just give them pork chop bones. That's what I heard.
Hey, that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's how I was raised, our beagles. But anyway, Wayne, with so many products on the market, is there something you should stay away from?
Well, you stay away from dog foods that are first ingredient grain is probably the most important thing you can think of. If it says something like Walmart's food, not to say anything against them, but first ingredient says corn, folks, you can feed that to your ducks and pheasants, but I wouldn't recommend it for a dog.
Right.
Can you give them too much protein, Wayne?
Well, I think that there is a limit to it, but although I don't think the dog food that we have today, I think they guide that. They know how much is too much. And I believe in the dry dog food because actually it stays fresher longer.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is you want to be able to store your dog food in an area that it stays in the original sack, but yet you can put it in a container too.
Whoa! Stop! Wait, why? Because I'm lost. Why do you want it to stay in the sack, but it's in a container also?
Well, that's double protection. That's covering yourself with suspenders and a belt also.
He is the ultimate optimist.
Keep that moisture out.
Well, it does. It does keep the moisture out. And the sacks that are made, there's an FDA law about the sacks and the quality of the sacks because they ship a lot of it overseas, so it has to stay very fresh. I actually tried for a while, not knowing, dumping it into a large 55-gallon container, and the food went bad on me.
Really?
Yeah.
So I learned the hard way that you leave it in the sack, but you put it in the 55-gallon drum, and if you want to, you can put the lid on it. That will help the freshness. Although I feed so much of it that it doesn't last too long.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I keep new shipments, new bags coming in quite frequently.
So Wayne, I mentioned in jest a minute ago the pork chop dump bones, and what about table scraps? Is that a no? Do not do that to your animal.
Here's the rule of thumb on that. I think is that you feed food that actually helps nutritional wise your dog's health, and obviously vegetables are good for a dog. And a lot of your major manufacturers are putting vegetables in their food also. So It depends on what else you're feeding the dog. Now, if you're feeding them a lot of fat, like you said, the pork chops, the grease, I don't think that's good for the dog. I really don't. I like a good quality dry food. The main reason is because it keeps well, and it's easy to serve. Now, I also add water to each serving of that dry because they need that moisture for digestion purposes.
So how do you determine? And obviously, it's different by each dog. But concerning the size of the dog, how do you know how much to feed that animal?
Well, normally, fortunately for us people that can still read, Mike, you read on the back of the sack, and it normally tells you the amounts based on the size of the dog. I think it's important to be consistent with your serving. It's recommended by most authorities that you feed twice a day, regardless of whether at least twice a day, whether it's a puppy or a full-grown dog. I do, for convenience sake, just feed once a day, and quite frankly, that seems to work well for me. Now, my dogs sometimes don't put on or keep on weight like they should feeding once a day, so I'll switch twice a day if I see the weight starting to fall off of it. But the coat and the skin and all is very important, and not to gross anyone out, but you've got to have stool that is firm, that is not loose on the dog. Those things are important, and you pay attention to them.
Well, Wayne, I did not know that you were supposed to. I've done it before just because I thought it made gravy, but I did not know that you were supposed to put water on your dry dog food all the time.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, just add one that the digestive purposes is great. Obviously, if you feed a moist dog food like a canned food, it's not necessary. But they need that moisture to digest that food properly. And anytime I'm feeding any dog, whether it's yours or whether it's mine, I'm going to add a little water to their food.
Now, Wayne, I had an experience a few months ago with a lab. Next door neighbor's got a lab. He came over to my house, and he goes out and fishes with me in the backyard, and I gave him a treat. And he's standing beside me, and all of a sudden he goes into seizure mode. And I had no idea what was going on. And this dog is on the ground, and he's in seizure mode. And I'm like, so I call his owner. I said, hey, dude, something's going on. Come to find out, he was allergic to red dye that was in the treat that I gave him.
Wow.
And I'd never heard that there are some dogs that are allergic to red dye. And he said, yeah, don't give him any more treats with red dye. Thank God the dog survived, because, I mean, I'd have felt bad for a long, long time over that. But
well, it's the same as people. Some people are allergic to that FD5 color, and the dog's the same. There's some dogs that are allergic to corn, and they develop allergies, and you'll note those allergies. They'll lose hair, their coat will get dull, and obviously the food, whatever you're feeding them, is not working. And I tell everybody I'm not married to any particular dog food. I have dog food that I like because the dogs seem to do well on it. But if I have one that doesn't tolerate it, I'm gonna change.
Yeah,
it's very. I like the dry, like I said, and there's nothing wrong with the good canned moist food. But for my purposes, I think a dry works well, and they seem to tolerate it fairly well.
Well, you know what? You bring up the dry dog food and things of that nature, and you mentioned the treats. When you're training a dog, when you're doing positive reinforcement, do you do that with a treat?
When they're puppies, I almost 100% use treats.
What does Wayne Neeson, the Candyman himself, what is his treat?
I use a dry. I use the biscuits. And I'll break them into quarters because normally they're fairly large. Just a small tidbit of anything like that's got some liver, peanut butter, something along that line that the dog really, really wants, or the puppy wants. And so I'll teach them the various obedience with that small treat. Just like tomorrow I'm getting 2 German Shepherd puppies in, and I'll use treats with them. It works well. Now, as they get older, it'll be fewer treats, more with an understanding that you're going to do it my way, and you're going to like it, and you're going to enjoy it, because then they get into it. And there's always a reward, whether it's a retrieve or whether it's something along a rubber ball, a tennis ball. There's going to be some kind of treat, even at a session of where a grown dog is doing. But yeah, I don't ever stop really giving treats. I give my grown dogs treats right now, like when they jump into the kennel, into a crate or whatever it may be. And I'll tell them kennel. They'll go in. I'll hand them a treat. Not every time, but sporadically I'll give them a treat, and they know that. So I don't think that ever stops altogether.
Wayne, thank you.
Yeah, there's not a better way to train a dog to jump up into the back of the truck or the back of the four-wheeler than to pitch up a piece of the dog bone in there.
Thank you for the insight, Wayne. We really appreciate that. You always bring it, brother.
Well, the other thing is that now that we've got one to jump in, I highly recommend to those of you that have big dogs, like Mike does, is when that dog comes to that tailgate or wherever, you help that dog down. You don't let that dog jump down on its own. It's bad on the joints. So you'll notice me anytime I'm training dogs and they're in the back of the truck or on my dog truck or trailer, I'll reach inside and help them down. I'll actually lift the dog up and put them on the ground.
Thank you, Wayne. Candyman Pet Lodge. Talk to Wayne Neeson about getting your dog trained, boarded. What an incredible facility there is. You can just call Wayne at 426-2928. 426-2928. 318.
And I appreciate it, guys. And don't forget that Holy Angel Tournament also is coming up this weekend.
Yeah. You betcha. We'll see you there Saturday, brother. Wayne Neeson and Candyman Pet Lodge. Call them again, 426-2928. We are hooking up and tracking down 1130 The Tiger.
Sweet chocolate malt candy.
Get ready for another hour of the best outdoor show on the radio. It's the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show. This segment presented by Ranger Boats, Despino and Jim's Big South Tire, the Red River Waterway Commission, and Rio Ammunition, the cleanest burning shells on the market today. Once again, here's Gary, Steve, and Mike.
We are hooking up and tracking down 1130 The Tiger, and we've got the Delta Waterfowl 2018 duck breeding report coming up here in a minute. First, though, Mike wants to remind you why you need to be shooting Rio Ammunition.
Yeah, because they have been around, and I did not know this, since 1896.
Holy cow!
They were making shotgun shells for blunderbusters.
You were just a teenager back then.
I just started hunting in 1896, yeah. One of the big things is that they focus on innovation and product development. Rio specializes in sporting and hunting shotgun shells, now running a new state-of-the-art facility just across the Texas line in Marshall, Texas, right on the loop that goes around, whatever it is. It goes
what is that, 360 or something?
Something like that, yeah. Sounds familiar. Technology, advanced cases, primers, powder, wad and shot. The cleanest shotgun shell on the market. I can attest to that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I went from having to clean my gun every 2 or 3 trips to I can't remember the last time I cleaned it. To learn more and find a dealer near you, go to Rio, R-I-O, RioAmmo.com.
And that's why Mike's shotguns always sell so cheap.
Yeah,
The used ones,
exactly.
I was wondering why. Now we know. Delta Waterfowl 2018 duck breeding report. Numbers are down. Now, before we start actually reporting these numbers, Mike, you're the resident duck hunter. I mean, you know all this stuff. When the numbers are up, down, or the same, have you ever seen that bear any difference on what type of a season you had? You know, man, the numbers are high. We've never had this many ducks before. Have you ever seen
correlate?
at the end of the year that you went, holy crap, there was a lot of ducks this year?
No, because I think naturally, if you've got more ducks, you should at least see more ducks.
Yeah.
I mean, just common sense. But whether you have a great season, a better season, or you have a bad season, normally is a result of your spot.
Yeah.
Lakes up, lakes down. You've got no grass. You got a lot of grass. If you're hunting a waterway, you're like private land. Your WRP, whether you've got the been bush hogging and disking, and you've got the right grass growing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. You can have a few ducks,
mm-hmm.
and if they all come to you, you got a great year.
Yeah.
But you can have a ton of ducks, and if you don't have something to pull them to your spot, then you wind up having a bad year. So the answer is no. I've never just been able to say 1 or 2 years that our hunt equaled what the national count is.
But is that because we're passing through, we're not the destination. Like South Louisiana, they may notice a drop.
Yes.
Yeah. We're just passing through here. So
Right. We are, the west zone of in Louisiana is basically just what you said. It is a passage. We do not have enough agriculture in our area for ducks to come, sit, build up, and stage.
Well, I mean, but wouldn't you agree that by the time ducks have gotten here, the duck count is as low as it's going to be for that year?
Yeah.
Just about. The only thing that's going to affect it is Cajuns.
Exactly. I mean, the only people that see that see less passing through
Mm-hmm.
would be those maybe in Ellick or a little bit further south.
Right.
The rest of them, the ducks are starting to pile up down there.
Yeah.
If 1 million ducks leave Canada and there's 100,000 of them get killed,
right,
then everybody else saw close to 1 million, but we see 900,000.
Right. That's my whole point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things that also, is there a place, and I mean, you run with a lot of duck hunters, is there a place, private land included, is there a place within 25 miles of downtown Shreveport where somebody could hunt every day and kill a limit of ducks?
Private land?
Private land included?
Yes.
Okay. So that means we do have those places. It just might mean that we don't have access to them.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll never get to go hunt there.
Okay. Yeah.
But it is, and it's just because the people have the land and they have the money and they have the initiative to develop their property into that type of place.
So it's not a shortfall of ducks coming through. It's just that those ducks that go to those places are going there for the forage.
Right.
That we don't offer in places like Bistineau or even at Bodcar or Loggy Bayou.
And that's the reason that people like myself and the people I hunt with that hunt almost every day of the season on public water,
mm-hmm.
where all your ducks are flight ducks. I mean, if you don't see them, if you're not there when they go by, you never see them again.
Right.
We do not like the split, where you have a 2-week period in first of December or something where you can't hunt. The majority of our ducks in the west zone come down from the end of October to January 1. January 1st to the end of January is horrible duck hunting around here. Now, a lot of people don't believe that because they've deer hunted November and December. And that's the only time they get to duck hunt.
Yeah.
Or the only time they decide to duck hunt. So whatever they see, mm-hmm. and that's their only time. But if you're going to hunt every day, you want to start the end of October, the 1st of November, and hunt every day
mm-hmm.
until Christmas.
Yeah.
And then it's about over for public land hunting around here. We don't want to split. They're not going to build up. They're not going to stack up in a 10-day period on Cross Lake, Wallace Lake, Lake Bistineau, Red River, Caddo Lake, anything like that. They're not going to stack up there.
Yeah.
They will stack up on a refuge that we can't hunt.
Right.
Or these people that do have the money and they've got the property and they're doing exactly what I would be doing if I had the land and the money. So I'm not criticizing them.
No.
And they could go there every day and kill a limit of duck, but they go once a week with a big group and everybody kills a limit of ducks. They're doing what I would do if I was in their financial zip code.
See, to me, that's you've summed it up.
Yeah.
It's just what's available to us.
Yeah.
Isn't the primo.
That's right.
Okay.
So the majority of the people, to 95% of the duck hunters in the West Zone, we would be better off if we could hunt every day of the season from November 1 to Christmas.
Shoot what's available when it's available.
Yeah,
eliminate the split.
Oh, that's what I'd vote for. Absolutely. Yeah. We miss some of the best days sitting at home or deer hunting because they've split saying we need to let the ducks rest. They're not resting. They're passing through and going down and getting shot in South Louisiana.
And so by Christmas, the majority of the passage has already occurred.
If you hunt public land in the West Zone, 80% of your ducks have gone through by Christmas.
You can never set your calendar by it. But depending, because weather fronts and things like that start. Right. When is the earliest in your recollection that big ducks had started making their way through the area?
It is nothing to be out on the lake the last week of October and see enough ducks to have a good hunt.
Wow.
Now, I don't mean that happens every day. Right, I don't mean that. But we see it every year, the end of October, the last week of October, that we'll see. God, I wish I'd been sitting in a blind today.
Yeah.
Have you seen teal already yet?
I have not. I've only known of one person that's seen a bunch of teal last weekend, and they could have been birds that were hanging around on the, on somebody's pond.
Right.
You know,
I'm going to Red River tomorrow. I might see something.
Okay, Delta Waterfowl released the numbers for this year. They are down.
Yeah, and they're down significantly, guys. I mean, in my opinion, these are big numbers, Mike. 12%, 31%, 16%.
What's down 31%?
Well, I don't have the percentage here.
Gadwall.
Gadwalls. They were probably the biggest decline. Yeah.
Isn't that probably? Wouldn't you say Gadwalls and Widgeons probably the two most killed around here?
Oh. Not Weegians, no.
Man, we used to kill the devil out of the Weegians on Toledo Bend.
Yeah, well, you want any more, but we and it's a numbers thing because Weegian is next to a teal. I think, in my opinion, a Weegian is probably the easiest duck to decoy.
That's why we killed a lot of them. If it had taken a whole lot of skill, I promise you, they'd have been safe.
You want me to read these?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is in 2018, mallards, 9.25 million as opposed to 10.48 in 2017.
Down 12%.
Yeah. Gadwalls, gray ducks, 2.88 million as opposed to 4.18. That's about 45%, something like that.
31%.
Okay. Weegians, actually up just a fraction, 2.8 million from 2.77 million last year. Green wing teal 304 down from 360.
16% down.
Okay. Blue wing teal 6.45 down from 7.88 million.
18% down.
The great northern shoveler, the salvation of most duck hunts, the spoonbill, the smiley, the boot lip. 4.2 million in 2018. There was 4.35 million in 2017.
Down only 3%.
Redheads down, canvasbacks down, scalp, which is basically your blackjacks and ringnecks and stuff, down 3.98 this year, down from 4.37. Actually, what they're saying this year, 41.19 million. This year, last year, 47.26 million.
That's 13%
last
down.
year.
Do they do a goose count also?
Oh yeah, well I'm sure they do. But what happens is when it's down, the biggest thing is it's not so much that you've got less ducks, you've got less young ducks. Your first year ducks that come through are the ones that have never been called at, never been shot over spinning wing decoys. And they're the ones that will decoy the easiest. And if you've got 6 ducks out there and you've got one of them that's a new duck, and they're flying by and you call, it doesn't take but one duck in a bunch to peel off and come towards you, and a lot of times the rest of the bunch will follow.
Mm-hmm.
They just do that. So it's a big plus when you have young ducks.
Mm-hmm.
Question: why would Texas increase the northern pintail limit when their numbers are down 18%?
I don't know. Good question.
They're probably looking at an average over a 5 or 10 year period.
Yeah.
You know where they're at. You know, averaging that,
and it could be that there's an increase because the flyways have definitely deviated.
Yeah.
It could be that there's just an increase in the
shifted over.
pintails coming through Texas, although they've always had a good flight.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know why they've done that. But
have you seen years when pintails and mallards were in abundance on Bistineau?
Actually, the last 2 years we've killed about a majority of our mallards the first 2 weeks of the season.
Wow. So
Early.
after that, what are we shooting?
Well, you're still shooting that, and you're shooting gray ducks, gadwalls,
Yeah.
and we try not to shoot the jacks, but not to say anything against it. We just,
Now, by the time duck season starts, have the teal already pretty much come through?
majority of your blue wing teal have come through. You'll start getting your green wings.
Oh, okay, they come later.
And then they'll be one of your. You'll actually have a lot of times really good teal shooting the last 2 weeks of season because you're catching they're the first ones to come back.
Oh, really? Huh.
Didn't know that.
Well, one of the things that intrigues me the most is that when you're just fishing, you're just a bass fisherman, and you're out there, and you're seeing just rafts and rafts and rafts of ducks. You're thinking, oh my God, those guys ought to be just hammering them out there. But when you're seeing that, those ducks aren't up flying being shot at.
Yeah.
They're rafted up somewhere.
Right.
And I would imagine that when you've got those years like this year, we've got so much grass on Caddo Lake. There's so much hydrilla and stuff for those ducks to eat. You would think it would be a banner year, but it could very well make it even harder to hunt them, couldn't it?
It could be, but you're still, if you've got them on the lake, you stand a chance of killing them.
I got you.
So, and my question, do duck hunters in general like a little activity like bass fishermen on the lake while they're hunting to keep ducks stirred and keep them moving?
Yeah, just go right up there and fish by one of their blinds.
Well, don't do that.
No, you get real popular real quick. They love you when you do that. Bring them a
it's
sandwich.
like the four-wheeler deal you said with the doves. Get them up, get them moving around.
There's no doubt that if a boat goes down the lake and gets up ducks, you stand a chance of getting shot.
Right.
But I would rather not have somebody fishing up and down the channel by my blind. In case
that's a different deal.
One bunch comes by and there's a boat over there 75 yards away. If I got a choice.
Yeah. But both of you are equally entitled to the water, so.
No, it's winter. They need to stay home.
Hey, outdoor news, outlaws, and topics on the way. Guess what? It's hooking up and tracking down. 11:30, the Tiger.
Shotgun.
Make sure you check out our website. It's HUTDshow.com for tips, tactics, and videos that's sure to make you a better outdoorsman. This segment presented by Daiwa Rods and Reels, Bayou Outdoors, Supercenter, Cigar Fishing Line, and Holy Angels, providing love and support for those with special needs.
And if you're looking for a place to stock up on all your dove season and possible duck hunting gear, stop by Davis Clothing and Outdoor. Well-stocked in Rio Steel Shop for your WMA hunts. A great selection of shotguns from Browning and Remington and many others. And pick up some new camo gear from Wall, Drake, maybe Columbia. Gun cases to ear protection. Davis Clothing and Outdoor has it all. BJ and Lee Davis invite you to stop by 4481 Viking Drive in Bossier.
If you're looking for something to do, if you're not going to dove hunt the first week, September the 1st, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of that weekend, the Shreveport Fire Department Muscular Dystrophy 3D Archery Shoot at the Garland Scout Ranch down off Mansfield Road, just before you get to Kickapoo. 3 days you can go down and shoot any day. I don't have anything in front of me. I know you can go down there Friday morning or Saturday morning or Sunday morning and sign up to shoot. They're going to be serving hamburgers and stuff. A lot of great prizes, a great cause. So go down there the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I guess that's going to be September 30th. August 30th, September 1st and 2nd at the Garland Scout Ranch down Highway 171 right before you get to Kickapoo.
You know what? You could dove hunt that morning.
Sure you could.
And then go shoot.
Oh, yeah.
And then dove hunt that afternoon.
Or you can go shoot the archery and just dove hunt in the afternoon.
Yeah,
exactly.
Either way to work out, and you're helping out muscular dystrophy. Are they going to be back out with a boot again this year? You know?
Oh, I think they still do that. Yeah, okay. I haven't even asked. You know, it kind of came a liability thing about standing on street corners with the other girls that were standing on street corners.
We got some outdoor news for you.
Street corners get you in trouble.
Yeah, buddy. Only Graf would know.
No, not really.
Outdoor news for you. Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries has a warning.
And we know we brought this up the last couple of weeks, Gary, but we just want to reiterate this.
The Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries is cautioning deer hunters about the use of deer urine lures this season because of the potential these products could contain chronic wasting disease, which is CWD. That is a neurodegenerative disease found in most deer species, including moose, elk, mule deer, and whitetail deer. It is infectious and always fatal. CWD has not been discovered in Louisiana, but it has been in 25 states, including Texas, Arkansas, and Mississippi.
Yep.
And one of the ways that you can introduce that to an area that might have no cases of CWD is through deer urine that was put there in the area, and the next thing you know, you've got a problem.
Yep, that's true. You want to do the next one, Mike? You want me to do it?
No, you do that one. I want to do the
all right.
last one.
Bass Pro Shop, getting it done. The National Retail Federation, the world's largest retail trade association, representing more than 18,000 companies from the United States and more than 45 countries, has named Bass Pro Shops the #2 hottest retailer in America, ahead of Amazon, PetSmart, IKEA, Verizon, and many others. According to the NRF, Bass Pro Shop has made regular appearances in the Hot 100, but none as high as this year's #2 ranking after completing a prolonged acquisition of Cabela's last September. In May, Bass Pro announced an expanded alliance with Sunglasses Hut to open shops inside 160 Bass Pro Shops and Cabela locations. The partnership dates back to 2015 when Bass Pro recycled the Pyramid in Memphis from a sports arena and entertainment venue into a 535,000 square foot retail space that included Sunglasses Hut inside the Bass Pro Shops.
It's Sunglass Hut. Yeah.
Sunglass Hut.
Sunglass.
Not is.
You know, it's kind of funny to see sitting watching a Sportsman Channel or something and see a commercial come on where the commercial is advertising Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's simultaneously.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
It is weird.
It's kind of weird. You're right.
Yeah. Fake distress calls may prove costly. I bet they do. Agents cited Benjamin T. Becknell for criminal mischief for making fake distress calls from his radio on his vessel. Agents received a call on August 13th in the afternoon about a distress call in the vicinity of the False River. Agents made contact with the U.S. Coast Guard and informed them that they went to the vicinity of the distress calls and could not locate anybody. On the evening of the 13th of August, another Mayday call went out to the USCG in the vicinity of False River near Oscar. The United States Coast Guard deployed a search and rescue mission by air, and the LDWF and Point Coupé Sheriff's Department employed vessels to the False River. At approximately 10 p.m., LDWF agents and Coast Guard
Sheriff's Department
deputies made contact with Becknell, who was an occupant of a vessel on the False River earlier in the day. During questioning, Becknell spilt his beer and then informed the agents and deputies that he had made the distress call by VHW radio from his vessel. Criminal mischief brings up to $500 fine and 6 months in jail. All he had to do was not confess.
Well, me.
Well,
me, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
You have enough beer, though. You start spilling your guts and bragging to everybody, and then you put it on Facebook. Next thing you know, you're in jail.
The truth serum.
You and Bubba get real close.
Yep.
Lubbock District Game Wardens responded to a report of an ATV accident on the OHV trails near Buffalo Springs Lake. They discovered a 34-year-old male subject riding an ATV with a 5-year-old passenger when the ATV overturned and rolled several times on the steep rocky trail. The child was wearing a helmet and escaped with only minor injuries and scratches. The man's leg was crushed under the ATV, resulting in a substantial injury, requiring medical attention and transport to a local hospital by ambulance. Alcohol was not a factor in the accident. You know, ATVs, let you know right off. I just wonder how many people, because you're not really supposed to have a passenger on an ATV.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had them. I had the kids on.
We all have.
Yeah. And you look back over a situation like this. What if that baby had gotten hurt?
Yeah.
And it's plainly stated in most cases right there, on the plastic fender guards.
Yeah.
Don't have a passenger on here,
right.
And certainly don't have anybody on here under the age of 18.
Right.
And then you see a situation where something like this happens. I wonder how often, we point that pistol at ourselves and pull the trigger.
Well, that's one of the reasons I put this on here this week, Gary, was because it's getting that time of year.
Yeah.
Everybody's starting to hit the woods.
Right.
Putting corn in feeders. They're doing work out there, and they got their sons with them. There's more and more people starting to ride again. So I'm just bringing it to everybody's attention. Be careful.
You bet.
Be careful out there. And we don't want anybody hurt. All right. Elite Series wraps up. It's hard to believe that they're wrapping up their season this week on the St. Lawrence River. Expecting to be a smallmouth shootout. Real quick, though, Angler of the Year standings going into this event. Bradley Roy is leading the Angler of the Year standings.
Now, he's only been around 2 or 3 years now, hasn't he?
It's like his third, fourth year,
Yeah.
I think. You're right. Second place is our good buddy, Justin Lucas, is at second place with 607. So he's 10 points behind Bradley. Definitely attainable. Third place is Brent Chapman. Has Brent won this before? I thought he had
Angler
won.
of the Year in
Yeah. I thought he won it.
I thought he
early-
won. I thought he
early
won
in
the.
his career,
I thought he won the FLW Cup.
I don't remember. I just thought
I love
it
that
rang a
Pro
bell when I
versus
saw
Joe.
that.
I love that show.
Yeah.
He does a good job
He
of that.
does a real good job. But Brent Chapman's in third, and Josh Bertrand. I'm not familiar with Josh, but we all know Ott Defoe. I still think Ott Defoe is one of the better anglers. on the
Okay,
tour.
is this a weird year? You look at there at the top 5.
Yeah.
Where's Kevin Van Dam?
Yeah.
Where's Greg Hackney?
Skeet Reese,
Skeet Reese.
Iaconelli.
Where are those guys? Was it this year? Was it tough fishing? Was it a different kind of a tour? Or was it one of those years where they had other sponsor commitments and they just had other things going on? Their mind wasn't really on this game.
Yeah.
Or is it a year that newcomers shine?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nick LeBrun.
Yeah.
Is an example for fourth place in the Cup.
You bet.
First year.
Yeah.
That's true.
What do you think? I mean, is it just a freak? Is it one of those things where
I think it's an example of the versatility and the level of competition in the Elite Series now.
Yeah.
I really believe that. I think it is such a broad spectrum now of guys that are really good that if you get the right breaks in these tournaments, you have a shot.
The tough part about that equation is the financial commitments you got to make to go fish the Elite.
Dude.
And I wonder sometimes, if there aren't possibly better fishermen that are out there that just couldn't come up with the finances to do it.
No doubt about that.
Okay, are there award-winning country and western singers out there that are still singing in a bar someplace?
You bet.
Yes,
You
sir.
bet.
Are there
That's
some
right.
women that could win Miss America that ain't in the pageant? Yes.
Yes.
Are they championship ball players out there that never got off a little league field?
Yeah,
exactly.
You know,
yeah.
And the scary part is that nowadays, you know, when you think I got this all figured out, I'm Ken Cook or I'm
Nixon or
exactly. When you think, then all of a sudden you stub your toe, and there's millions of sponsorship dollars on the line here, and your performance is you know, you're graded every year. People talk all the time about I love my job, I got job security and stuff. Well, these guys, you don't ever get to that point.
Right.
You get a little forgiveness because you're Larry Nixon or that you're Denny Brower. You get a little bit of grace period in there, but go 4 or 5 years and don't produce and watch what happens.
Right. Now, my question for you, how many guys from around here, I don't have to be one of them, could make it on the Pro Tour?
I'm glad you clarified that.
No, seriously, how many guys, we don't have to name names, but I would say there's 3 that I could think of.
But I don't mind.
Really well.
Obviously, Nick LeBrun is going to make it.
I think Nick.
I honestly think that had Randy Devers caught a 5-pound fish, he would be a contender also.
Yeah,
I really do. I mean,
but he's going to compete on the same national scale.
Yes, I believe he could.
Or he will.
I've always said that given the money and the non-commitment at home, family and work and stuff, that Jeff Holder could do it.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Jeff's the other guy.
I'm gonna name somebody that you'd never think of. That's one of the smartest fishermen I've ever been in a boat with. Is Joey Hood.
Really?
Yes.
The thing now, here's the next part of that
Now,
equation.
he would never commit something like that because his work ethics, he just wouldn't do it.
Right. He's not going to sacrifice
but the next
family.
part of that equation is this: of those guys, and this is the only part that bothers me with like an elite schedule or something like that, or even the FLW. The time away from home.
Oh, my God.
That these guys are going to have to go through. And that's the part that scares me for Nick is because Nick is so well grounded. He's a new Christian. His family is
He's
the
a
most
family guy.
And all of a sudden, when you take that out of his equation, do you get homesick? Can you focus on the job at hand, knowing that you might not be home for 6 weeks, 8 weeks?
Well, somebody asked me,
even if
his
you
family
can she?
Better question.
Some people have asked me already, is she going to travel with him? Because a lot of the wives do that now with their kids.
Yeah.
I don't know if Nick's plans are for her to travel with them.
And homeschool?
Yeah, and homeschool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the toughest part. It might not be.
Man,
the fishing might be the easy part for some guys.
Yeah.
The fundraising. That's another aspect. That's a business, a part of the business plan. And then you've got that real equation, which is eating at another restaurant, at another Waffle House, in another podunk town, by another boat ramp.
Dion Hibden said on this program the hardest thing he ever went through was when his family came off the road with him as they got into junior high, started playing football.
Yeah, and he wasn't there.
He ain't there. And they weren't with him. And he said, that about killed me.
Hooking up and tracking down. Paul Davis is going to tell you about how to plant that fall food plot for your deer. That's next, 11:30, The Tiger.
Just a reminder, you can catch us again Saturday mornings from 6 to 8 here at 1130 The Tiger. This segment presented by Natchitoches Ford, Wildwood Resort at Toledo Bend, Davis Clothing and Outdoor. Clothing, apparel, and hunting products for everyone who enjoys the great outdoors. Now back to Gary, Steve, and Mike.
Thanks again to Wayne Neeson, owner of Candyman Pet Lodge. Spent some time with us talking dog nutrition today. That was really cool, letting us know, what you should and should not feed your dog, especially to get that optimum performance out of one of the hunting dogs and stuff like that. And of course, Wayne is owner of Candyman Pet Lodge, a first-class kennel. They've got both inside and outside facilities, one-on-one dog training available. You got a barker. You got one that just will not stop yapping. He can help you with that. You got one that you really need to quit pottying in the house. He can help you with that. You've got one that you want to take all the way to the master's level in the AKC. He can help you with that as well. There's grooming and bathing, a special place for man's best friend, just west of Greenwood, Louisiana. Candyman Pet Lodge. If you're looking for a place to just put the dog up for the weekend, or you want to get an extended amount of training, or just some short training, he can handle that. Call 903-766-DOGS. 903-766-DOGS.
What if he could train a dog to help keep the mailman away from your wife? While you're on home.
I can handle that for you.
Just teach your dog to take pictures.
There you go.
I can help you out on that. Paul Davis from Paul's Farm and Garden on the phone. Now, Paul, every year.
Speaking of staying away from your wife.
Paul, you stay away from my wife.
I'll tell you my parrot joke one day.
Yeah.
That's when I turned loose of my roost. I fell off my roost.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, buddy.
We know the same joke.
So, Paul, every year when you tell us about food plots, there's always something new. There's a bigger, better, badder way to do it. What's the newest thing at Paul's Farm and Garden that, it's going to guarantee us that every 12 point in the whole world is going to show up on our place?
I got nothing.
Well, he didn't make something up.
That would have been start joke here, but I couldn't come up with it. We got a few new things this year. We're carrying some triticale, straight triticale, and most people aren't familiar with what that is, but it's kind of like a cross between a wheat and a oat. Does real good, real palatable. They like it. It's actually been in a couple mixes we've had before, like the Tecumseh Max Attract has a lot of triticale in it. That's one of the ones. That's part of the reason it performs so well. And then, not a new one. We've had it the last couple of years, but it really took off last year. We have a top-notch seed mix that comes out of Texarkana, a seed company up there, makes it, puts it together. It's got some triticale, and it's got some barley in it too, which is a little different, but it has just really done wonders the last couple of years. So I look for it to really satisfy some people this year.
Paul, back in the old days, farmers would talk about rotating crops. They'd grow a longleaf crop one year and a broadleaf the next year, and different things like that. If you've been growing like buck forage oats that I get from you every year, if you've been growing those and you always see success with that, is it okay to continue with that, or should at some point you change over to something else?
It would always be best to rotate them, but you don't have to if you've got a spot that's doing real good and they like the buck forage oats on that little patch. And, by all means, keep coming, but you're going to have to supplement it some with some fertilizer.
Oh, yeah. And tell me this. Do you see, because fertilizer right now is the most expensive I've ever seen it. It is.
It's actually been a little bit higher than it is. It's settled down, but it's still crazy high as compared to what it was 15 years ago.
Yeah. Do you see that leveling off in the next few years?
I can't predict it. Believe it or not, natural gas has a lot to do with it. At least that's what they've told me. The ingredients, certainly they're all commodities, so they go up and down. But for the past, at one point it gotten up to a bag of Triple 13 would cost you almost $15 a bag. And for the first 15 years I was here, we literally never changed the price. It varied a few pennies one way or the other. We sold it right. It was $5 a bag. Yep. And then natural gas was the thing they said really bumped it up about 10, 15 years ago. and it got higher, and then it's kind of jumped all around from $10 to $15 a bag since that time. And it's closer down to that $10 range now.
Oh, awesome.
Now, Paul, is
$2 a bag.
Is there a mineral block that's out there that you say, okay, I better make sure I got plenty of these because this is the one brand that guys really seem to like? Is there one out there that just overheads and above everything else?
Trophy Rocks. We sell a whole lot of Trophy Rocks. That's the brand name. It's what most people don't understand when they come in and they say, I want a mineral block. What they're looking for is the square red block, and that's actually a trace mineral block. And what that is, it's a 98% salt. It's basically a salt block, but they go in and they add these trace minerals that all animals need. There are other minerals that they need, calcium, phosphorus. They need higher amounts, but on these minerals, some of the zinc, manganese, iodine. There's a whole list of them, 8 or 10 of them, and they just need literally trace amounts of them, parts per million, and that's what a mineral block is. It's cut the 50-pound block everybody's used to seeing in the cow pastures and putting it out for the deer. The Trophy Rock is basically the same thing, not quite as high a salt content, but it's cut right out of rock that is naturally got all those trace minerals in it. So everyone looks different. It depends on how they cut it, and it's in its truest form, you might say.
Huh. Is there truth or fiction on this? If you plant too early, the seed is just going to stay in the ground, the crows are going to eat it all, and you're never going to get a good stand. Or, can you put it out there, even though the soil might be a little bit dry, maybe early next month, can you put it out there and it just sit underground, 3-4 weeks till we get some rain, and then you'll get just as good a stand? Can you do it too early?
You can do it too early, I believe. Like, for instance, we've had a rush of people here over the last 2 weeks wanting to get started early, and some people didn't have a choice. That's just going to be the only opportunity to get out there. But the problem with that is, we were been unusually mild, and, of course, we've had some rains over the past several weeks. So it makes people want to do it, but the problem is maybe the moisture's there. Maybe it would come up. I don't think it would at this point, but if it did, we get into a hot part of September, which I've seen September be as brutal as August.
You betcha, yeah.
And if you get this stuff to germinate and we get that kind of September, it's going to die off because it can't stand the heat. At least the things you're trying to plant for the fall and winter are. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to plant some soybeans or some peas or something right now, that would be fine. But these fall and winter crops, they just don't need to get that kind of heat in September. So had a crystal ball and you knew what was going to happen, maybe it'd be just right. I know I looked at the 10-day forecast yesterday, and it did not look favorable. It looked like we're getting hot and dry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, 100 degrees this weekend.
Mm-hmm. So, I wouldn't recommend it. A lot of people are buying their stuff now, trying to make sure they've got it for whenever the weather changes and they can go hit the woods. And as far as it laying there, yes, to a large degree, I believe it will. And you got to worry about a lot of things happen. Like if you get a little moisture to it, but not enough to germinate it, you can get the seed to rot. You can get insects to get it. Mm-hmm. Of course, the birds can get it. So you put it down there too early and it doesn't germinate, you got a lot more risk factors involved there. But y'all remember last year, it was hot and dry in September. We didn't get a rain until 1st of October, I believe. Mm-hmm. I may be getting last year and the year before mixed up.
No, you're right. You're right.
I think that's what it was. And I had a lot of people who had tried to time a rain right there at the end of August and put it down. And they told me later that, or I had several people, I'm not going to by any means say it was all of them, but I had several people who were in that boat that told me later up in October and stuff, after the rains that came, that nothing ever came up. So, and your guess is mine is why that is. But in nature, these things seed themselves. So, whether it be wheat or ryegrass is a good example. Ryegrass mature, make a seed in May, and you bush hog it or it falls to the ground, it won't germinate itself all, through the whole summertime. But then when October comes around and gets the moisture, you'll start seeing this volunteer ryegrass all over the place, just like on the side of the road. Nobody planted that. That's just ryegrass seed that settled there in the spring. So, yes, it'll work like that, but I don't recommend it.
Okay, Paul, if you don't know the answer to this, I want you to research it because this is critical to me. We planted last weekend for ducks. We planted golden millet. We got a quarter-inch rain that night. We just planted, fertilized. We got a quarter-inch rain that night, and we're afraid now exactly what you said. Just enough moisture to germinate, get up 2 or 3 inches tall, and then nothing is going to burn off.
I think the millet's going to handle it fine. I'm not that familiar with the golden millet, and you did a good job getting that because I've been trying to find some the last couple of weeks, and I can't find any.
Well, here's my concern. Mm-hmm. Just south of us, they planted Jap or brown top millet 3 or 4 weeks ago. They got a pretty good stand, got up about 8 or 10 inches tall, and they got hit with army worms. Fortunately, these guys live there. And they had like less than 24 hours to spray. Is there anything that you can spray ahead? I mean, once it starts growing, to keep the army worms off? All I can find is only something you can spray after they've gotten on your crop.
That's it. You can, on some of the products that you spray for army worms, like, we just are finishing up with a bout of them. Everybody's been treating them.
They ate my yard.
We couldn't get enough chemical in here to kill them all for the people that were wanting it. Carbaryl, which is commonly known as 7, has been the thing people use for years. It's going to have a little residual, but not very long, just a few days, if I understand correctly. I may be off on that. The popular thing this year, because it was cost effective, is a fairly new product called Lambda-Cylothrin, and you can use it, and I think they told me you could get 5 to 7 days residual out of it if you used the right surfactant with it, but no, there's nothing that's going to get you long term. And the way those armorworm cycle, I'm not sure exactly how many days it is, but the worm is there, and then the moth, later the moth comes and deposits the larva, and then it matures into the worm. Best thing you can do is start watching in the evenings. If you get these little moths you see hovering right above the grass, may look like mosquitoes at a glance, but if you get closer, you'll see the little moths. If you start seeing those, be ready, because the armyworms are coming.
Okay, one last question, Paul. What are you thinking? Is corn going to be about where it was last year? Are we going to be higher or lower this year, deer corn?
I think it's going to be a touch lower.
Oh, good.
Still waiting to buy some of this year's corn. We're still working off of some of last year's crop, but everybody's combining right now. As a matter of fact, we've the last several years sold bulk corn here. We've got a feed bin where we can fill up a barrel for somebody or a bag, whatever they want, pull up under it, and we can weigh it out and put it in. So I've got some bought, trying to get a truck to go get it right now, and I won't know exactly what it's going to cost till then, but I look for it to be a touch cheaper.
Hey.
One more question, Paul. Off the subject, tomato plants. Do you have fall tomato plants, and if so, when do I need to plant those?
Well, you may not realize, but I forgot to call you guys, and the reason I forgot to call, I was out there unloading the plant truck. So yes, we've got tomato plants. So I just unloaded some, and we've had them for the last week or so.
And it's time to plant them now, right?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When is Paul's Farm and Garden appreciation dinner out under the tent?
We're not doing it this year.
So you're just taking the three of us out to supper?
No, I was taking your wives out to supper. But we did that last night. I don't know where y'all were.
There you go.
But we're doing something different this year. Anybody that's been in the past, we've got their address. We're going to be sending them out a mailer here in the next week or 10 days, have a coupon in it, and be able to bring that mailer in, and we'll have a little thing here where we're going to draw for what would have been a door prize. Last several years, we've been fortunate enough, everybody, I think one year we had 70, 80 people, another year we had right about 100. We've been fortunate enough, everybody got a door prize. Well, we're going to do it a different way this year. We're just going to let people come in. They'll, if they've been in the past, they'll get the letter in the mail with the coupon, and then they can draw for prize. Won't be anything less than a bag of corn.
Wow.
Cool.
Way to go. That's awesome. Yeah. Paul's Farm and Garden. Paul Davis, thank you, brother. We appreciate you.
Yeah, Paul.
All right. Thank y'all.
We are hooking up and tracking down. We're almost out of time, bud.
Yeah,
this is crazy. This is flown by. Well, our final segment on the way, 11:30. The Tiger.
Want some great wild game recipes? Check out our website at hutdshow.com. Click on our recipe page for recipes that's sure to cure your hunger pains. This segment presented by Nichols Department Stores, Gamakatsu Hooks, Sproul Lures, and Natchitoches Ford. Get ready for hunting season with the new F-150 4x4 from Natchitoches Ford, and tell them the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show sent you. One more time, here are the gurus of the great outdoors, Gary McCoy, Steve Graff, and Mike Eccles.
And if you're anywhere near Natchitoches and you're needing something to go hunting and fishing with, stop by Cypress Knee Outdoor. They have a great selection of hunting and fishing gear, hunting accessories like cameras to camo, decoys to feeders, bows to gun. They carry a top
corn chops for deer season. I mean, a dove season.
Pork chops to whatever. They
Not
got
pork chops, corn chops. Carrying top name brands like Primos, Browning, Winchester. For dove season, they carry the best in the Rio ammunition, located east of exit 127 off I-49, just south of Natchitoches on Highway 1. Or just call them at area code 318-238-HUNT. I like that. That's cool. Yeah.
It's almost like getting that
238
that Mike phone number.
465 Mike. That's it.
Hey, I got my wife's cell phone number, and her last is BASS. Her last 4 digits is B.
Really?
Yes.
I started. You said B. I thought you were going to say something else. I can't believe that.
He did that to his wife.
Here's your Daiwa Samurai
Now
best.
we know why this is wife number 3.
Here's your Daiwa Samurai best times to fish. This weekend is rated as good on Friday and excellent Saturday and Sunday as we head into a full moon period by Saturday night. Extreme
It
hot.
better be excellent about 2 o'clock Saturday when we're out there at 100 degrees.
Exactly. Extreme hot temperatures return to our region with highs around the upper 90s. Now they're predicted 100 and lows in the lower 70s. Little to no rains expected this weekend. Best times midday. Friday 10:32 a.m. till 1:32 p.m. Sunrise 6:44, sunset 7:49. Saturday 11:19 a.m. to 2:19 p.m. Sunrise 6:45, sunset 7:48, and on Sunday 12:05 to 3:05 p.m. Sunrise 6:46 and sunset 7:46. This has been your Daiwa Samurai Braid. Best times to fish.
Next week, Texas Game Warden Morgan Inman on the show. He is going to be telling us what not to do on your next dove hunt.
Exactly.
What not? You know, and I'm just going to sit back. I don't want to. I don't want to say anything. You know, because I guarantee you, I have done everything he will say do not do.
Do not do.
Yeah, but I will never do those things again.
Yeah.
Once again, hey, honey, what's for supper? Direct from Bellevue Meat Processing. Carla Nesbitt's cookbook, Oh Dear, this week, venison vegetable soup.
Oh, man, that sounds good.
Do you grind? Do you like your vegetable soup with ground venison?
I like ground beef.
Yeah, see, me too.
I like
ground beef. How do you
Ground
get
venison.
beef out of
Excuse
venison?
me, ground venison. Yeah.
I was
No
wondering
doubt.
what kind of deer you kill.
But if you're
It's a
going to
crossbred.
but if you're doing stew,
I want it chunks. I want backstrap. I want backstrap.
And that's how I look at stews.
1 pound of ground venison, 2 cans of diced tomatoes, and I'm thinking, you know, if you're like me and you want a little heat to it, you can make those rotels.
Yeah.
3/4 tablespoon of garlic powder, a small medium onion diced. Okay, now you want that white or do you want that purple?
I'm fine with white.
White.
Either one's fine with me, but I like white.
Or yellow, even.
I don't use yellow.
You know what? I'm like that. I either want white
I
or
don't know
purple.
what it is.
I do not want
what
yellow.
it is. I don't like a yellow onion.
Isn't the white one sweeter anyway? Isn't it the sweetest?
I
of
like
three?
the purple one to me
I
is
love
sweeter.
I love purple now.
Yeah.
For my burgers.
2 cups of potatoes diced, 2 beef bouillon cubes, a 1/4 tablespoon of hot pepper sauce, 2/3 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar. Throw in some vegetable oil, a package of mixed vegetables. What do you call that stuff? Those mixed vegetables. What's that called? All veg, veg all. Yeah.
Veg all.
And 2 cups of water. Brown the ground venison in a large stock pan. And you remember, what's the lady's name, the woman in the outdoors that helps us out from Arkansas all the time?
Phyllis Spears.
Phyllis Spears. She says when you're browning your meat, if it gets kind of mushy, you're doing too much of it at one time. She said you don't want to brown the whole pound at one time. She said put it in the pan and smaller, and that way it browns better. You're not boiling it in the grease. You're actually browning it like it's supposed to. Anyway, add all the remaining ingredients and stir well. Cook on medium-low heat for an hour. Serve with a slice of warm cornbread. Okay. Now, wait a minute. This is the most important part of that, and it's in Carla's cookbook, oh dear. Sweet cornbread or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Jiffy.
Dude,
gotta have sweet cornbread.
Is Jiffy cornbread the greatest invention?
If I got Jiffy cornbread, I don't have to have dessert.
I'm
telling you, man.
That is a glass of sweet milk
And a little butter on there.
I don't like milk.
Dude.
I don't like milk.
Oh, my God.
All right.
But I do. I do love Jiffy. I really do. Yeah. And I'm not tell you what. I'm going to give y'all another recipe. I got this from my son's mother-in-law, and it's real simple. Take a large can of green beans, pour them with the juice into a skillet. Turn the fire on low, and then add 8 ounces of grated Velveeta cheese. And just slow cook it until the cheese melts down into it, and it makes a sauce.
That's not where I thought you were going with that.
Velveeta cheese on green beans cooked in a skillet slow.
I have had green beans without the juice poured into a frying pan with a little vegetable oil in there, and you just kind of stir fry them like that. Holy cow.
Add a little garlic.
Put some bacon bits or something in there.
Bacon bits.
Oh,
my
dude.
wife does it. It is good.
It is lunchtime, too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, and I want to say hats off. I just found out a minute ago, because Jeff Pate works for Kenny Jenkins. All that work that was done on Loggy Bayou for Delta Waterfowl, Jeff Pate himself was the man. So when it comes to heavy equipment operators, I'm going to put Jeff right up there with anybody in this world. So Delta Waterfowl, especially Kenny Jenkins, did not spare any expense putting the right man out there on the job. And Jeff, being an avid fisherman and duck hunter, he knew what he was looking for. He knew what he was trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
So
well, probably Jeff was just like me. His mindset. If I can find someplace else for some of these knuckleheads to hunt, maybe they'll get off this tonight.
real
That's
quick,
probably
too.
the story.
This weekend, of course, is a huge event with Holy Angels, and I'm looking forward to this event. I think we're going to have a great turnout.
Yes.
And I encourage all you anglers out there. Again, we want to bust 100. The goal is to bust 100.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why we shouldn't do that. Yeah, it's going to be a little warm. Who cares?
Yeah.
Just go out. You're going to be outside anyway.
Catch all your fish by 9 o'clock, and then go sit in the shade.
We had here a while back. A couple of years ago, I had a really good team. Came in on that tournament. I'm pretty sure it was that tournament because it was a scramble. You could fish Toledo. Came in with 1 or 2 Kentucky spotted off Toledo that were not 12 inches. If it does not say in the rules that there's a 12-inch minimum on Holy Angels, I'm not sure it is. Even if you go someplace where you don't have a length, you don't have a minimum length on the Kentuckys, but in a tournament you do.
Yeah.
So that's just a reminder.
What about this? You don't have a minimum length on Caddo.
There's still a 12-inch minimum.
Okay, so the tournament is imposing the 12-inch minimum.
And even if it's not in the rule, you've never fished a tournament that didn't have at least a minimum length in it. So
Graff and I did. We got beat by a guy on Lake Fork that had 2 10-inch fish.
Yeah,
because they didn't have a minimum length.
I look at it this way: if you're coming off Caddo with 3 12-inchers, you probably need to stay home.
We had a sack of fish that day. This guy had.
If you're on Fork with 3 12-inch fish, you're going to get a check.
Exactly.
We had a sack of fish that day, and that guy came in with like a 10-pounder and 2 10-inch fish.
If he didn't have that kicker, we'd have won that.
Oh,
sucker.
dude, it was crazy.
And reminder of the Shreveport Fire Department muscular dystrophy 3D archery shoot next weekend, opening weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the same weekend dove season opens at Garland Scout Ranch down on Highway 171 South.
Is it a different competition each day,
you can shoot any day. You can shoot any day.
Could you shoot more than one round?
Yes, absolutely.
If I wanted to shoot Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I could.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And they have the novelty shoots too. They've actually got a thing set up down there where they're blowing a ping pong ball up in the air on a column of air.
And you shoot it while it's in the air?
Yes, and some of these guys hit it. I couldn't hit it with a shotgun.
That's what I was going to say.
All right, here's this week's final word.
All right.
Fishing for Angels Bass Classic. The only Holy Angels leading the way. This bass tournament is an awesome event, and we hope all area fishermen will take the time to come out and support. The Holy Angels organization goes above and beyond, helping people with disabilities who need a little help and assistance with their everyday lives. Daily tasks that we take for granted can be a difficult challenge for some. So please come out this Saturday at Red River South and enjoy some great fishing, food, fun, and entertainment while raising money to support the Holy Angels organization. Till then, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week with more Hooking Up and Trekking Down here on 1130 the Tiger.